For millennia, humanity has focused on the enigma of sleep. Does our consciousness simply shut down when we close our eyes and drift into the depths of the night? Or does it embark on a secret journey through realms the waking mind dares barely conceive? Today, I invite you to unravel one of the greatest hidden mysteries of human existence, the fate of our consciousness while the body rests. Consider for a moment, sleep isn't just a period of physical inactivity. If it were, why did ancient cultures, from shamans to philosophers, devote so much time and study to dream states? Why did forbidden texts and esoteric traditions from every corner of the planet whisper of soul journeys, encounters with entities, and glimpses of the future, all occurring under the veil of night? This isn't an invitation to mere speculation, but to immerse yourself in ancient wisdom that has been carefully preserved, often on the fringes of accepted knowledge, for those willing to see beyond the obvious. Imagine that each night you hold the key to a portal, a doorway to invisible dimensions where cosmic energy flows freely, where time and space bend to a different logic. What would happen if you could consciously explore these realms? What if dreams weren't just random remnants of the day, but encrypted messages, guidance from your higher self, or even real journeys to other planes of existence? This knowledge has the power to radically transform your perception of the esoteric universe and of yourself, initiating a profound inner alchemy. Prepare to question everything you've learned about reality. We'll explore how your mind, even when asleep, can be a compass for spiritual enlightenment, a vehicle for discovering truths that transcend matter. We'll uncover clues left by forgotten civilizations and explore interpretations that modern science is only now beginning to fathom. This is a path to self-knowledge, a journey that promises to expand your consciousness in ways you never imagined. If you feel this calling resonates in your soul, if you're ready to unlock these secrets, please share this video with those seeking truth, and subscribe to the channel. Together, we will open the doors to what lies beyond sleep. When we close our eyes and sink into the depths of sleep, most believe our consciousness simply shuts down, resting in a void until we awaken. But what if I told you this is merely the surface of an ocean of hidden mysteries? What if, in truth, our mind never ceases its activity, merely shifting frequencies, accessing planes of existence that the material world prevents us from perceiving? This is a truth whispered by ancient wisdom, encoded in symbols and myths that have spanned the ages, ignored by Western science for millennia. Consider the ancient Egyptians, for example. They didn't see sleep as a temporary death, but as a journey of the soul, where the Ba, the essence of the personality, could travel freely, connecting with divine domains and the knowledge of the ancestors. Their rituals and texts, many of them considered forbidden or difficult to access, describe techniques to facilitate these projections, allowing the individual to consciously explore Duat, the underworld, or even the heavens. This is no mere fantasy. It is a profound echo of an understanding of the universe that recognizes the fluidity of consciousness and its ability to transcend the physical body. In shamanic traditions, from isolated tribes in the Amazon to Siberian cultures, soul flight is a central practice. The shaman, through trance or altered states of consciousness, often induced by sacred plants or drumming rituals, travels to spiritual realms, seeking healing, visions, or the return of lost soul fragments. These are not metaphorical journeys. They are lived experiences, where cosmic energy manifests in ways that defy our linear logic. They understand that the invisible world is as real as the visible, and that sleep is a privileged gateway to access it to their spiritual enlightenment. So what happens to our consciousness when we sleep? It unfolds. One part remains connected to the body, but another, the astral self, the subtle self, frees itself. It is in this state of freedom that we have the opportunity to practice true inner alchemy, working on subconscious levels to untie energetic knots and process complex emotions. Dreams, in this context, cease to be mere random flashes of memory and become maps, coded messages from our own soul or from spiritual guides. They are the language of the invisible realms and learning. To decipher them is a crucial step on your journey. How can we explain the feeling of having been in a distant place, of having encountered people we've never seen in waking life? These are clues, evidence that the mind, during sleep, is a sensitive radar, capable of capturing frequencies and information that escape our 5 ordinary senses. Each night, without us realizing it, our consciousness embarks on an odyssey, a journey through interconnected dimensions. The question isn't whether this happens, but whether we can learn to consciously navigate these seas. There are those who have walked this path and left their trails for us. These traces, my dear seekers, are not mere esoteric legends. They are the echo of ancient wisdom, encoded in myths, rituals, and yes, in forbidden texts whose pages hold keys to dimensions beyond the ordinary. Think of the shamans of the most ancient tribes, the ascetics of the East, the oracles of Greece, all of them masters in the art of transiting between worlds. They understood sleep not as a refuge for the exhausted mind, but as a portal, a field of active work where cosmic energy was malleable and consciousness could be directed. For them, sleep was not inactivity, but a state of subtle hyperactivity, an opportunity to access hidden mysteries and to receive directly from the universal source the spiritual enlightenment necessary to guide their communities. And what does modern science say about this? Interestingly, rather than completely dismissing these views, it begins to explore parallel paths. While traditional sleep studies focus on REM and non-REM phases, memory consolidation and neuronal restoration, a bolder strand of research is beginning to investigate altered states of consciousness during rest. They study lucid dreaming, where the individual becomes aware that they are dreaming and can, to some extent, control the dream environment. Isn't this essentially an embryonic form of the conscious navigation we discussed? Furthermore, near-death experiences, NDEs, where the mind reports an out-of-body perception and encounters with non-physical entities, present remarkable parallels with the astral journeys described by ancient traditions. Science, with its electroencephalograms, and MRIs, attempts to map brain waves, the frequencies that correspond to these expanded states. Are they, without knowing it, beginning to decipher the same energetic language that the ancients already mastered? Inner alchemy, in this context, takes on a new guise. It's not just the transmutation of metals, but the transformation of consciousness itself, the ability to shape internal reality, and by extension, external reality from these liminal states. Imagine the power contained in learning to operate in this nocturnal laboratory, where the laws of physics as we know them become fluid. It's a bridge, my friends, that is slowly being rebuilt between ancient wisdom and the cutting edge of quantum consciousness research. What the ancients called the subtle body, or astral self, science seeks to understand as neural networks and states of minimal sensory interaction. But the essence remains. There is a part of us that extends beyond the physical, and dreams are the daily invitation to explore it. The question now is how to deepen this exploration, how to activate this latent capacity in each of us. The question now is how to deepen this exploration, how to activate this latent capacity within each of us. The answer, as so often happens, lies not in new inventions, but in the rediscovery of ancient techniques, veiled by the veils of hidden mysteries. The masters of ancient wisdom, from Siberian shamans to Egyptian priests, bequeathed us a map, not a geographic one, but one of the spirit. They understood that REM sleep, though a natural gateway, is only the beginning. True mastery lies in maintaining full awareness while the body slumbers, in transitioning from the state of wakefulness to that of detachment with intention. This brings us to the discipline of deeper inner alchemy. It is not a shortcut, but a process of self-refinement. Deep meditation, controlled visualization, and certain breathing practices, such as those described in Forbidden's text, those that have been marginalized or purposefully obscured for ages, are the tools for fine-tuning our subtle body. They teach how to move cosmic energy through the energy centers, the chakras, creating a vortex that facilitates separation. The Egyptians, for example, saw the Ba, the soul, as capable of leaving, the Ket, the physical body, and traveling through the astral realms. Their funerary rituals were, in essence, manuals for this conscious journey, a form of spiritual enlightenment beyond earthly life. Consider the accounts of visionaries and prophets, who often describe journeys to heaven and hell, not as mere metaphors, but as real experiences in parallel dimensions. Were they accessing the same astral plane that manifests during sleep? And if so, what did they bring back? Clues lie between the lines of myths and legends, in the archetypal symbols that permeate all cultures. The silver thread, the vital connection that unites the physical body with the astral body, is a recurring concept, a link that ensures safe return. But who described it first, and why is this image so universal? These out-of-body experiences are more than mere dreamlike illusions. They are windows into an expanded reality, a laboratory where the laws of cause and effect can be observed from, a perspective beyond matter. By understanding this dynamic, the initiate not only travels, but also interacts, learns, and brings back knowledge that can transform consensual reality. What ancient shamans called soul-searching or journeying. To the spirit world is the same journey, an attempt to heal, to prophesy, to gain power and wisdom. What if this ability is intrinsic to all of us, a remnant of our true cosmic nature, just waiting for the call to awaken? The real question is, what are we willing to do to hear it? The answer, my disciples, lies in the inner alchemy of your own consciousness. The tapestry of your dreams is not woven haphazardly. It is a direct reflection of the emotional thread you carry on the threshold of sleep. If your spirit is burdened by fear, anger, or regret, the veil between worlds becomes dense, and dreamscapes can be distorted mirrors of your own shadows, manifesting in nightmares or encounters with low-vibration entities. They are the hidden mysteries of the human psyche, revealing its darkest aspects. However, when your heart is at peace, your mind serene, and your intention pure, the curtain rises. It is in this state of harmony that cosmic energy flows more freely, allowing access to realms of pure light, encounters with spiritual guides, or memories of past lives that resonate with ancient wisdom. The ancient Egyptians, Siberian shamans, Hindu ascetics all understood this fundamental truth. They not only invoked dreams, but meticulously prepared for them. Fasting, meditation, specific chants, ritual baths, and the ingestion of sacred herbs all were part of the sacred science of purification, a ritual of inner alchemy to raise one's vibration before the night's journey. It is no wonder that many of the forbidden texts and the most secret rituals of the ancient mystery schools describe precisely these preparations, often encoded in symbolism that only the initiated could decipher. This is the key to true spiritual enlightenment through sleep, not being a mere observer, but a conscious architect of one's own experiences, a navigator of dimensions, whose emotions are both rudder and compass. Every thought, every feeling before closing your eyes is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the unconscious. What are you cultivating for your nocturnal harvest? What if the continuous practice of this emotional alchemy could not only refine your dreams, but also awaken latent abilities, perceptions that transcend the physical, preparing you for a consciousness that extends far beyond the veil of sleep and wakefulness? What happens when this boundary between dream and reality dissolves completely? This dissolution is not an end, but an invitation to a new existence, to which ancient wisdom already pointed us. This is where the true art of programming the subconscious. Mind is revealed, the cornerstone of ancient hidden mysteries. Think of your intention as a polished crystal. Before sleeping, formulate precisely what you seek. Not a vague desire, but a clear and unequivocal command to the inner universe. I want the solution to this dilemma. I wish to remember my dreams. I seek clarity about my purpose. This is the language the subconscious understands, a reverberation of the cosmic energy that inhabits you. Affirmations, in turn, are the repeated chants, the sacred litanies that sculpt new neural patterns. Spoken with fervor and conviction, they are not mere words, but vibratory keys that unlock forgotten doors. Repeat them as you fall asleep, allowing their resonances to permeate every cell, imprinting themselves deeply on the underlying consciousness. This practice is a form of inner alchemy, transmuting doubt into certainty, chaos into order, preparing the ground for spiritual enlightenment. The Egyptian priests, masters of the dream temples, knew that the sleeping mind was a portal. There, through rituals of purification and intention, they sought revelations for healing or future events. The subconscious mind, programmed by faith and ancestral rituals, accessed vast fields of information. For them, problem-solving, or dream recall, was a manifestation of spiritual enlightenment, communion with the divine and the ancient wisdom that permeates reality. But what if these simple techniques, when mastered, were just the tip of the iceberg? What if the constant programming of the subconscious could rewrite one's own destiny? What do the forbidden texts whisper about shaping external reality through inner mastery, using sleep as a primordial forge? If we can plant seeds for dreams, might we not then plant seeds for existence itself, weaving tomorrow with the threads of intention and cosmic energy during the deepest hours of the night? But what about shared realities? Could it be that our dreams are not just individual mirrors, but portals to a vast realm where consciousnesses intertwine? Carl Jung, in his Ancient Wisdom, bequeathed us the powerful notion of the collective unconscious, a primordial reservoir of universal experiences, symbols, and archetypes, where the psyche of humanity meets and recognizes itself. For him, shared, dreams would be less an anomaly and more a natural manifestation of this profound interconnected layer of our existence. Imagine an ethereal library, accessible to all, where universal truths manifest through dream symbols. Ancient civilizations, long before Jung, understood this invisible web. Australian Aborigines, in their dream time, not only remembered events of creation, but interacted with this ancestral dimension as a continuous reality, a shared mental landscape that transcended linear time and physical space. Their shamans, through rituals, navigated these dream currents, seeking information, collective healing, or the spiritual enlightenment that comes from merging with the cosmic mind. For them, there was no rigid boundary between individual dreaming and collective experience. Everything was part of the same flow of cosmic energy. And what does quantum physics whisper to us about this? The idea of entanglement, where interacting particles remain connected no matter the distance, echoes the intuition that consciousness may also be fundamentally intertwined. If, at the subatomic level, separation is an illusion, why wouldn't our dream experience, so fluid and detached from Newtonian physical laws, reflect this profound interconnection? We could be, during sleep, tuning into a unified field of information, revealing hidden mysteries that defy our linear logic. This would not be a merely individual inner alchemy, but a transmutation of the very perception of existence, leading us to question whether waking reality is merely a fragment of something much larger. What do the forbidden texts, those that spoke of mutual dreaming and dream telepathic connections. Hold about this invisible network of minds, this consciousness that expands beyond the body and time. Deciphering these truths is a portal to the deepest ancient wisdom, an invitation to explore the nature of the universe and ourselves, and perhaps the key to unlocking the next layer of spiritual enlightenment. If consciousness is intrinsically intertwined, like the echo of distant particles, and can tune into a unified field of information, then the idea that this same consciousness transcends the constraints of linear time in the dream state is not only plausible, but almost a logical consequence. This is where the reality of precognitive dreams manifests with disturbing force, shedding light on one of the most fascinating hidden mysteries of human existence. Imagine yourself in a dream state, with a veil separating the now from the length. Not yet dissolves. You are not just reliving memories or processing emotions from the day. You are witnessing scenes, events, or even dialogues that will materialize in your waking reality days, weeks, or, in rarer cases, months later. This ability, often attributed to prophets and oracles in ancient wisdom, is not a mere whim of the tool, subconscious, but a profound connection with the quantum tapestry of time. For the ancient Egyptians, for example, dreams were direct messages from the gods, a channel to divine knowledge that transcended earthly limitations. Their forbidden texts, or at least those that survived the censorship of time, often describe complex rituals to induce prophetic dreams, intended to guide political, military, or even personal decisions. They intuitively understood that the cosmic energy, which permeates everything, is not subject to our linear perception of cause and effect. The experience of a precognitive dream is a direct invitation to inner alchemy, forcing us to reevaluate the very fabric of reality. If the future can be accessed, even fragmentarily, in the present, then time, as we understand it, may be a useful illusion, but not the ultimate truth. Are we then travelers of consciousness, able to slip between the cracks of time and space, gathering information from a potential future that already exists in some parallel dimension, or as a vibrational frequency to be tuned? This perspective immensely expands our journey towards spiritual enlightenment, for it forces us to confront the non-locality of consciousness and the malleable nature of destiny. But how can we discern a mere daydream from a genuine glimpse of the future? The key lies not only in the accuracy of the images, but in the energetic resonance. The dream evokes a sense of premonition, a silent certainty that accompanies awakening. Shamans of ancient cultures, through rigorous practices, trained themselves to interpret these subtle signs, using them as maps to navigate not only the present, but the uncharted waters of tomorrow. They saw the future not as unalterable, but as a river with multiple currents, where consciousness, by observing, can even influence its course. This raises an intriguing question. When we dream of the future, are we merely observing it, or is our very act of dreaming already an active element in its manifestation? And what, beyond personal events, would be available to this expanded dream mind? What other hidden mysteries might be waiting to be unveiled in the depths of this temporal sea? However, precognitive dreams are just one of the many facets of this dream diamond. The realm of dreams unfolds into typologies that reveal distinct dimensions of our consciousness. We have symbolic dreams, the most common, which act as mirrors of the psyche, reflecting our conflicts, desires, and growth processes through a universal language. The ancient wisdom of diverse cultures, from the Egyptians to the Aborigines, has always recognized the importance of deciphering these hieroglyphics of the soul, understanding that within them lies the path to our inner alchemy, the transmutation of the unconscious into full self-awareness. Each image, each event in these dreams, is a fragment of a larger puzzle about ourselves. About moving forward, we find lucid dreams, where consciousness is ignited within the dream experience itself. Suddenly, you know you're dreaming, and more remarkably, you can actively influence the scenario. This is a powerful tool for spiritual enlightenment, a laboratory where you can confront fears, explore limitless inner landscapes, or even practice skills in a consequence-free environment. Many forbidden texts in ancient esoteric schools saw lucid dreaming not just as mental entertainment, but as a portal to mastering the mind, a training ground for interacting directly with cosmic energy, expanding the perception of reality beyond the five sensations. Finally, and perhaps the most enigmatic, are spiritual dreams. These transcend personal symbolism or lucid control, presenting themselves as direct messages, visions, or encounters with beings of light, bringing profound healing or revelations about the greater purpose of existence. They are moments of connection with the hidden mysteries of the universe, where the veil between worlds becomes nearly transparent. In them, the sense of truth is unquestionable, reverberating in the soul long after awakening. Ancient wisdom teaches us that by cultivating receptivity to these dreams, we open channels for divine guidance and the expansion of our inner alchemy, which unites with cosmic alchemy. But what is the true purpose of such dream diversity? And how can we learn to consciously navigate these deep waters, transforming each night into a journey of discovery? Ah, my seeker, the question you raise touches on the very essence of existence, on what the ancient masters and ancient wisdom designated as the astral plane. Think of it not as a mere dreamland or mental projection, but as an intermediate level of existence, a vast, subtle dimension that interpenetrates and surrounds our physical world. It is an ocean of ether where thoughts, emotions, and intentions are not just fleeting ideas, but take shape, density, and life. It is the ecosystem of consciousness, where your every vibration resonates, creating or attracting. The hidden mysteries of this realm are as old as humanity itself, described in forbidden texts in veiled manuscripts that whisper of a reality as tangible as ours, but made of a more malleable, more subtle substance. In this astral plane, the hierarchy is inexorably dictated by vibrational frequency. There are what are commonly called lower layers, heavy and dark domains, often distorted and amplified reflections of fears, collective obsessions, and stagnant energies. It is an amplified mirror of our inner shadows and the distortions of the collective unconscious. Many reports of intense nightmares, sleep paralysis, or encounters with disturbing entities may actually be unconscious incursions into these dense regions. This is where inner alchemy becomes not only a spiritual practice, but also an armor and a guide. The purification and elevation of our own vibrational energy are key to avoiding these low vibrations and transcending their influences. Ascending, we find the middle layers, a more malleable field of manifestation, where most astral projections occur and creativity flows freely. Here, the mind can interact with landscapes constructed by the imagination, with memories, and even with the thought creations of other beings. It is the playground of the advanced lucid dreamer, the laboratory of the magician, where one can experiment and learn without the limitations of the physical, testing the limits of perception and will. It is on this plane that cosmic energy becomes more directly perceptible, responding to the commands of a trained will, allowing the exploration of symbolism and connection with specific energetic currents. And finally, the upper layers of the astral realms of pure light, harmony, and information, accessible only to those with an exceptionally high vibrational frequency, whose inner alchemy has been transmuted into pure gold of the soul. These are the planes of spiritual enlightenment, where one can encounter universal archetypes, luminous guides, masters of wisdom, and gain access to pure knowledge, devoid of veils or distortions. It is a place of profound healing, revelation, and union with the whole, where ancient wisdom is accessible in its most primordial form, not through words, but through pure vibrational understanding. navigating these realms is not without challenges. Nor is it a journey for the unwary. It requires profound self-knowledge, purity of intention, and a visceral understanding of how your own vibration shapes your reality inside and outside your physical body. For, as the forbidden texts and ancient sages warn us, the astral plane reflects not only what you project, but what you truly are. How then can we prepare for this journey responsibly and discern between the illusions and truths that await you as in these ethereal dimensions, without getting lost in their labyrinths of light and shadow? It is precisely at the threshold between consciousness and deep sleep that many of us, without even realizing it, have already begun this exploration, unraveling part of these hidden mysteries. Sleep, this much underestimated state, is in fact one of the most natural gateways to the subtle planes we have just glimpsed. But I'm not referring to mere dream-like reveries, the residues of the day processed by the subconscious. I'm talking about a different kind of encounter, one that transcends the logic of ordinary dreams, where the clarity and resonance of a presence are unmistakable. From the sleep temples of Asclepius in ancient Greece, where oracles were sought, in induced dreams, to shamanic practices that intentionally travel in nocturnal trance, humanity has always recognized sleep as a stage for interactions with the invisible. This ancient wisdom, often forgotten or ridiculed by modernity, points to a profound truth. During sleep, when the bonds of the ego and dense sensory perceptions loosen, our consciousness is able to expand, attuning to higher vibrational frequencies. It is in this state of receptivity that encounters with spiritual beings, luminous guides, or even departed loved ones become possible. Many report these experiences not as floating memories, but as vivid, communicated interactions, imbued with an authenticity that the awakened conscious struggles to replicate. In these moments, the barriers of time and space seem to dissolve, allowing the exchange of information, the receiving of advice, the healing of old wounds, or the sharing of momentary spiritual enlightenment. It is believed that the cosmic energy itself, which permeates the universe, acts as a conduit for these connections, facilitating the bridge between dimensions. The crucial question, however, lies in discernment. How can we know if the voice we hear, the image we see, is a genuine manifestation of an external consciousness, or merely an internal projection, an echo of our own fears or desires? The forbidden texts, those that speak of the dream, arts, and astral projection, warn of the mirages of the lower astral plane, where thought forms and less benevolent entities can manifest. They suggest that the purity of intention, the state of our inner alchemy, and the vibrational frequency we maintain are essential filters for the type of experience we attract. The true test lies not only in the lucidity of the encounter, but in the information and sensations it evokes. Is there a true resonance? Does it bring peace, clarity, a sense of expansion, or conversely, confusion and restlessness? These interactions, when authentic, often bring valuable insights that can guide our awakening journey, revealing aspects of ourselves or the path forward that had previously remained hidden. But how can we develop this sensitivity and strengthen our ability to distinguish the wheat from the chaff in this vast field of dreams and subtle realities? And what does it truly mean to recognize a soul in a formless realm beyond mere memory? Thus, dear seekers, the journey to discern truth in the subtle realms is not an external quest, but a deep dive into one's own inner alchemy. Ancient wisdom whispers that clarity of vision comes from purity of heart, and that the recognition of a soul in its purest essence transcends any physical form. It is a vibrational resonance, an echo of familiarity that only spiritual enlightenment can reveal. The hidden mysteries are not mere legends, but maps for this inner journey.